Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
The Buddha enunciated his Dhamma, which means teachings, in two different forms. Though distinct, they ultimately converge in the unfolding of insight into the realities of existence and the beyond. One approach was in philosophical terms, incisive and analytical. The other took the form of discourses in simple, direct language, intelligible to the masses and often precipitated by a specific question or incident. It is from this body of material that the Dhammapada was compiled. Each verse was prompted by a particular episode, accounts of which are preserved in the Dhammapada Atthakatha, one of the commentaries in the Pali Canon. For the simple and unsophisticated, it's a sympathetic counselor. For the intellectually overburdened, it's clear and direct teachings which inspire humility and reflection. For the earnest seeker, it's a perennial source of inspiration. Insights that flash into the heart of the Buddha have crystallized into these luminous verses of pure wisdom. As profound expressions of practical spirituality, each verse is a guideline to right living. The Buddha unambiguously pointed out that whoever earnestly practices the verses of the Dhammapada would taste the bliss of emancipation. In preparing this volume, I have had access to numerous editions and translations in various languages, including Sanskrit, Hindi, Bengali, Sinhalese, Burmese, and Nepali. While consulting a number of English editions, it was observed that the renderings were often either too free and inaccurate or too pedantic. It was therefore felt that a new edition of the Dhammapada, avoiding these two extremes, would be beneficial to people. There are editions of the Dhammapada by noted scholars such as Max Muller and Dr. S. Radhakrishnan. However, the teachings of the Buddha inevitably suffer some distortion when presented from a non-practitioner or non-follower of the Buddha frame of reference. Erroneous ideas have sometimes resulted from an unfortunate selection of words in translation, and footnotes have at times been judgmental. The present translation by a practicing follower of the Buddha is a humble effort to transmit the spirit and the content as well as the language and the style of the original teachings. For the interpretation, I have relied on the classic 5th century AD commentary by Bhadantacharya Buddha Ghosha, the great Buddhist savant. The Pali literature is a veritable storehouse of knowledge. It includes not only the Buddhist scriptures but also commentarial literature and independent treatises containing rich material on the science of the mind, medicine, the history and the geography of ancient India and surrounding countries, literature, poetics, prosody, and the prevalent technology, and the civics, sports, martial arts, etc. Students of psychology, sociology, anthropology, and cosmology will find the Pali literature a mine of source material for their disciplines. It is to be noted that much of the Asia, particularly Burma, Cambodia, Sri Lanka, Thailand, and Vietnam, built distinctive civilization inspired by the Pali tradition. I am grateful to Upasika Karunamma, an esteemed American pupil, for the most devoted service and help in going through the manuscript and suggesting improvements. Without her unreserved help, this edition would have never materialized. In grateful memory of my teachers, parents, relatives, departed and living, I humbly make an offering to the punya, that is the spiritual merit accruing from the effort of preparing this work. May they attain Nibbana. May all beings be happy. Mahabodhi Society, Bangalore, India. Dhammapada is the best known scripture of Theravada Buddhism and one of the most spiritual classic of all time. An anthology of 423 verses spoken by the Buddha himself. The Dhammapada serves as a perfect compendium of his teachings for study and contemplation. Insights that flashed into the heart of the Buddha have crystallized into these luminous verses of pure wisdom. As profound expressions of practical spirituality, each verse is a guideline to right living. The Buddha unambiguously pointed out that whoever earnestly practices the teachings found in the Dhammapada will taste the bliss of emancipation. Each verse of the Dhammapada has its backdrop in a significant historical incident. The stories have been translated by Venerable Dr. Acharya Buddharakkhita and published by Buddha Vachana Trust, Bangalore, under the title An Unforgettable Inheritance Series. Introduction. From ancient times to the present, the Dhammapada has been regarded as the most succinct expression of the Buddha's teachings. In countries following the Theravada Buddhism, it is a guidebook for everyday life. Even withdrawn contemplatives must possess a copy of this book. Yet the admiration of the Dhammapada has not been confined to only followers of the Buddhism. Wherever it has become known, its aphoristic wisdom and stirring message have won veneration of all. The son of a king, the Buddha, was born in 6th century BC. His name was Siddhartha and family name Gautama. Groomed to be heir to the throne, he encountered disturbing facts of suffering and lost all interest in the pleasures and privileges of rulership. One night, in his 29th year, he left home and became an ascetic, resolved to find the way to deliverance from suffering. For 6 years, he experimented with the different religious systems, subjected himself to severe austerities, but found that these practices did not bring him any closer to his goal. Finally, in his 35th year, sitting in a deep meditation beneath a Bodhi tree at Gaya, he attained supreme enlightenment and became the Buddha. Thereafter, for 45 years, he traveled throughout India, proclaiming the truths he had discovered and founding an order of monks and nuns to carry his message. At the age of 80, after a long and fruitful life, declaring the time, date, and place, he passed away peacefully in Kusinara, surrounded by a large number of disciples. The Buddha is neither a god, nor a divine incarnation, nor a prophet hearing a message from divine revelation, but the one who has reached the highest spiritual attainment, supreme enlightenment, that is Bodhi. He is a world teacher who, out of compassion, points out the way to Nibbana, the final release from suffering. His teaching, known as the Dhamma, offers a body of instructions explaining the true nature of existence and showing the path that leads to liberation. Free from all dogmas, inscrutable claims to the authority, the Dhamma is founded upon Buddha's own realization of reality and leads one who practices it to the excellence. In its 26 chapters, Dhammapada spans multiple aspects of the Buddha's teachings, offering a variety of standpoints from which to gain a glimpse into the heart of the Dhamma, which means truth. The inspirational verses on the fundamentals of the Dhamma are meant to be used as a basis for personal edification and instruction. As water, though one in essence assumes different shapes due to the vessels into which it is poured, so the Dhamma of liberation takes on different forms in response to the needs of the beings to be taught. This diversity is evident in the verses of the Dhammapada. The Buddha's teachings found in the Dhammapada apparently are designed to meet three primary aims: human welfare here and now, a favorable rebirth in the next life, and the attainment of the ultimate good. The last aim is twofold: the path and the fruit. The first aim is concerned with establishing well-being and happiness in the immediately visible sphere of concrete human relations. This level shows man the way to live at peace with himself and his fellow men, to fulfill his family and social responsibilities, and to restrain conflict and violence which infect the individual, society, and the world. The guidelines here are basic ethical injunctions proposed by most world religions, but in the Buddha's teachings, they are freed from theistic moorings and grounded upon two directly verifiable foundations: concern for one's own integrity and happiness, and welfare of others. For instance, one should avoid all evil, cultivate the good, and cleanse one's own mind. The other verses provide more specific directives. One should avoid irritability in deed, in word, and in the thought, and exercise self-control. The practice of the 5 precepts, which teach abstinence from destroying life, from stealing, from committing adultery, from speaking lies, and from taking intoxicants, treat all beings with kindness and compassion, live honestly and righteously. Instead of finding others' faults, one should examine one's own faults. Make a continual effort to remove impurities, just as a silversmith purifies silver, just as a goldsmith purifies gold. There is no need to despair for past evil, one who abandons the evil for the good, illuminates this world like the moon freed from clouds. The Buddha's teachings reveals moral justice in an impersonal, universal law, the law of the karma, which reigns over all sentient existence. Karma means action, action springing from intention, as bodily deed, speech, and thought. The unwholesome karma is action rooted in mental states of greed, hatred, and delusion. The wholesome karma, action rooted in mental states of generosity or detachment, goodwill, and understanding. The willed actions may fade from memory, but they leave subtle imprints on the mind, seeds with the potential to come to fruition maybe in future. The objective field in which the seeds of the karma ripen is the process of rebirths called samsara. Life is not an isolated occurrence beginning with birth and ending in death. Each single lifespan is part of series of lives having no discoverable beginning in the time and continuing on as long as the desire for the existence stands intact. Rebirth can take place in various realms. There are not only familiar realms of human beings and animals, but raised above we meet heavenly worlds of greater happiness, beauty, and power, and ranged below infernal rebirth takes place. Wholesome actions bringing rebirth in higher forms, unwholesome actions rebirth in lower forms. After yielding rebirth, karma continues to operate, governing the endowments and the circumstances. The second level of tacking found in the Dhammapada is to follow this ethical law leading upwards to inner development, to higher rebirths, and to richer experiences of happiness and joy. However, all states of existence in samsara, even the lofty celestial abodes, are lacking in genuine worth, for they are all inherently impermanent, without any lasting substance, and thus, for those clinging to them, potential basis for suffering. The disciple of mature faculties does not long even for rebirth among the gods. Having understood the intrinsic inadequacy of all conditioned things, his only aspiration is Nibbana, the unconditioned state where there is no more rebirth, or aging, or death, and no more suffering. The third level of the teaching found in the Dhammapada emerges out of this aspiration for final deliverance. The Four Noble Truths provide the framework for this aim. The first truth concerns various forms of suffering. Existence itself becomes impermanent and substanceless and is intrinsic. The second truth is craving for pleasure and existence, which drives us through the rounds of rebirths, bringing in its trial suffering. The third truth declares that the destruction of the craving issues in release from suffering, and the fourth prescribes the means to the release, the Noble Eightfold Path. The Noble Eightfold Path is arranged into three groups of training: moral discipline, concentration, and the wisdom. By the training in morality, the coarse forms of mental defilements are kept under control. By the training in concentration, the mind is made calm, pure, and unified. The training in the wisdom climaxes in the deliverance of the mind. The practice of the path in all these three stages is feasible for the people in any walk of life. The Buddha taught it to the lay people as well as to the monks, and many of his lay followers reached high stages of attainment. However, application to the development of the path becomes more fruitful for those who have relinquished all other concerns in order to devote themselves wholeheartedly to spiritual training, to living the holy life. Thus, the Buddha established the Sangha, the order of monks and nuns, as a special field for those ready to dedicate their lives to the practice of this path. And in the Dhammapada, the call to the monastic life resounds throughout. The Dhammapada acclaims those who have reached the goal. At the first, called stream entry, the disciple gains his first glimpse of the deathlessness and enters irreversibly upon the path of liberation. This achievement alone, the Dhammapada declares, is greater than lordship over all the worlds. Following stream entry come two further stages which weaken and eradicate still more defilements and bring the goal increasingly closer to view. One is called the stage of the once returner. The other, the stage of non-returner. The fourth and the final stage is that of the Arahant. The perfected one, the fully accomplished sage who has completed the development of the path, eradicated all defilements and freed himself from the cycle of the rebirths. This is the ideal figure of the Dhammapada. Extolled in chapter 7, the Arahat serves as a living demonstration of the Dhamma. The Arahat ideal reaches its optimal exemplification in the Buddha, the promulgator and the master of the entire teaching. It was the Buddha who, without any aid or guidance, rediscovered the ancient path to deliverance and taught it to countless others. His arising in the world provides the precious opportunity to hear and practice the excellent Dhamma. He is the giver of the refuge, the supreme teacher who depends on nobody, on nothing but his own self-evolved wisdom. Bhikkhu Bodhi, Forest Hermitage, Kandy.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
ನಮೋ ತಸ್ಸ ಭಗವತೋ ಅರ್ಹತೋ ಸಮ್ಮಾ ಸಂಬುದ್ಧಸ್ಸ ಬುದ್ಧಂ ಶರಣಂ ಗಚ್ಛಾಮಿ ಧಮ್ಮಂ ಶರಣಂ ಗಚ್ಛಾಮಿ ಸಂಘಂ ಶರಣಂ ಗಚ್ಛಾಮಿ. ಕುದ್ಧಕ ನಿಕಾಯೆ ಧಮ್ಮಪದ ಪಾಳಿ 1ನೇ ವರ್ಗ ಯಮಕ ವಗ್ಗೋ. ಗಾಥಾ 1. ಮನೋಪುಬ್ಬಂಗಮ ಧಮ್ಮ ಮನೋಸೇಠ ಮನೋಮಯ ಮನಸಾಚೆ ಪದುಠ್ಠೇನ ಭಾಸತೀವ ಕರೋತಿವ ತತೋನಂ ದುಃಖಮನ್ವೇತಿ ಚಕ್ಕಂ ವಾ ವಹತೋ ಪದಂ.
Dhammapada Pali, chapter number 1, Yamaka Vaggo, which means the pairs. Verse number 1. Mind presides all mental states. Mind is their chief. They are all mind-wrought. If with an impure mind a person speaks or acts, suffering follows him like the wheel that follows the foot of the ox.
ಗಾಥಾ 2. ಮನೋಪುಬ್ಬಂಗಮ ಧಮ್ಮ ಮನೋಸೆಟ್ಠ ಮನೋಮಯ ಮನಸಾಚೆ ಪಸನ್ನೇನ ಭಾಸತಿ ವಾ ಕರೋತಿ ವಾ ತತೋನಂ ಸುಖಮನ್ವೇತಿ ಛಾಯಾವ ಅನಪಾಯಿನಿ.
Verse number 2. Mind precedes all mental states. Mind is their chief. They are all mind wrought. If with a pure mind a person speaks or acts, happiness follows him like his never departing shadow.
ಗಾಥಾ 3. ಅಕ್ಕೊಚ್ಚಿಮಂ ಅವಧಿಮಂ ಅಜಿನಿಮಂ ಅಹಾಸಿಮೆ ಯೇ ಚ ತಂ ಉಪನಹ್ಯಂತಿ ವೇರಂ ತೇಸಂ ನ ಸಮ್ಮತಿ.
Verse number 3. He abused me. He struck me. He overpowered me. He robbed me. Those who harbor such thoughts do not still their hatred.
ಗಾಥಾ 4. ಅಕ್ಕೊಚ್ಚಿಮಂ ಅವಧಿಮಂ ಅಜಿನಿಮಂ ಅಹಾಸಿಮೆ ಯೇ ಚ ತಂ ಉಪನಹ್ಯಂತಿ ವೇರಂ ತೇಸು ಉಪಸಮ್ಮತಿ.
Verse number 4. He abused me. He struck me. He overpowered me. He robbed me. Those who do not harbor such thoughts still their hatred.
ಗಾಥಾ 5. ನಹಿ ವೇರೇನ ವೇರಾನಿ ಸಮ್ಮಂತೀಧ ಕುದಾಚನಂ ಅವೇರೇನ ಚ ಸಮ್ಮಂತಿ ಯೇ ಸ ಧಮ್ಮೋ ಸನಂತನೋ.
Verse number 5. Hatredness is never appeased by hatredness in this world. Only by friendliness is hatredness appeased. This is an eternal law.
ಗಾಥಾ 6. ಪರೇಚನ ವಿಜಾನಂತಿ ಮಯಮೆತ್ಥ ಯಮಾಮಸೆ ಯೇ ಚ ತತ್ಥ ವಿಜಾನಂತಿ ತತೋ ಸಮ್ಮಂತಿ ಮೇಧಗಾ.
Verse number 6. There are those who do not realize that one day we all must die. But those who do realize this will settle their quarrels.
ಗಾಥಾ 7. ಶುಭಾನುಪಸ್ಸಿಂ ವಿಹರಂತಂ ಇಂದ್ರಿಯೇಷು ಅಸಂಗುತಂ ಭೋಜನಮ್ಮಿ ಚಾಮತ್ತನ್ಯುಂ ಕುಸೀತಂ ಹೀನವೀರ್ಯಂ ತಂವೇ ಪಸಹತಿ ಮಾರೋ ವಾತೋ ರುಖಂವ ದುಬ್ಬಲಂ.
Verse number 7. Just as storm throws down a weak tree, so does Mara overpower the man who lives for the pursuit of pleasures, who is uncontrolled in his senses, immoderate in eating, indolent and dissipated.
ಗಾಥಾ 8. ಅಶುಭಾನುಪಸ್ಸಿಂ ವಿಹರಂತಂ ಇಂದ್ರಿಯೇಷು ಸುಸಂಗುತಂ ಭೋಜನಮ್ಮಿ ಚ ಮತ್ತನ್ಯುಂ ಸದ್ಧಂ ಆರದ್ಧವೀರ್ಯಂ ತಂವೇ ನಪ್ಪಸಹತಿ ಮಾರೋ ವಾತೋ ಸೇಲಂವ ಪಬ್ಬತಂ.
Verse number 8. Just as storm cannot prevail against a rocky mountain, so Mara can never overpower the man who lives meditating on the impurities, who is controlled in his senses, moderate in eating, and filled with faith and earnest effort.
ಗಾಥಾ 9. ಅನಿಕ್ಕಸಾವೋ ಕಾಸಾವಂ ಯೋ ವತ್ತಂ ಪರಿದಹಿಸ್ಸತಿ ಅಪೇತೋ ದಮಸಚ್ಚೇನ ನಸೋ ಕಾಸಾವಮರಹತಿ.
Verse number 9. Whoever being deprived devoid of self-control and truthfulness, should don the monk's yellow robe. He surely is not worthy of the robe.
ಗಾಥಾ 10 ಯೋಚವಂತಕ ಸಾವಸ್ಸ ಶೀಲೇಸು ಸುಸಮಾಹಿತೋ ಉಪೇತೋ ದಮಸಚ್ಚೇನ ಸವೇ ಕಾಸಾವಮರಹತಿ.
Verse number 10. But whoever is purged of depravity, well established in virtues, and filled with self-control and truthfulness, he indeed is worthy of the yellow robe.
ಗಾಥಾ 11 ಅಸಾರೇ ಸಾರಮತಿನೋ ಸಾರೇ ಚಾಸಾರದಸ್ಸಿನೋ ತೇಸಾರಂ ನಾಧಿಗಚ್ಚಂತಿ ಮಿಚ್ಛಾ ಸಂಕಪ್ಪ ಗೋಚರ.
Verse number 11. Those who mistake the unessential to be essential and the essential to be unessential, dwelling in wrong thoughts, never arrive at the essential.
ಗಾಥಾ 12 ಸಾರಂಚ ಸಾರತೋ ನ್ಯತ್ವಾ ಅಸಾರಂಚ ಅಸಾರತೋ ತೇ ಸಾರಂ ಅಧಿಗಚ್ಚಂತಿ ಸಮ್ಮಾ ಸಂಕಪ್ಪ ಗೋಚರ.
Verse number 12. Those who know the essential to be essential and the unessential to be unessential, dwelling in the right thoughts, do arrive at the essential.
ಗಾಥಾ 13 ಯಥಾ ಅಗಾರಂ ದುಚ್ಛನ್ನಂ ಉಟ್ಟಿ ಸಮತಿ ವಿಜ್ಜತಿ ಏವಂ ಅಭಾವಿತಂ ಚಿತ್ತಂ ರಾಗೋ ಸಮತಿ ವಿಜ್ಜತಿ.
Verse number 13. Just as rain breaks through the ill-thatched house, so passion penetrates an underdeveloped mind.
ಗಾಥಾ 14 ಯಥಾ ಅಗಾರಂ ಸುಚ್ಛನ್ನಂ ಉಟ್ಠಿ ನ ಸಮತಿ ವಿಜ್ಜತಿ ಏವಂ ಸುಭಾವಿತಂ ಚಿತ್ತಂ ರಾಗೋ ನ ಸಮತಿ ವಿಜ್ಜತಿ.
Verse number 14. Just as rain does not break through a well-thatched house, so passion never penetrates a well-developed mind.
ಗಾಥಾ 15 ಇಧ ಸೋಚತಿ ಪೇಚ್ಚ ಸೋಚತಿ ಪಾಪಕಾರಿ ಉಭಯತ್ತ ಸೋಚತಿ ಸೋ ಸೋಚತಿ ಸೋ ವಿಹನ್ಯತಿ ದಿಸ್ವಾ ಕಮ್ಮ ಕಿಲಿಠಮತ್ತನೋ.
Verse number 15. The evildoer grieves here and hereafter. He grieves in both the worlds. He laments and is afflicted, recollecting his own impure deeds.
ಗಾಥಾ 16 ಇಧ ಮೋದತಿ ಪೆಚ್ಚ ಮೋದತಿ ಕಥ ಪುಣ್ಯೋ ಉಭಯತ್ತ ಮೋದತಿ ಸೋ ಮೋದತಿ ಸೋ ಪಮೋದತಿ ದಿಸ್ವಾ ಕಮ್ಮ ವಿಶುದ್ಧಿಮತ್ತನೋ.
Verse number 16. The doer of the good rejoices here and hereafter. He rejoices in both the worlds. He rejoices and exults, recollecting his own pure deeds.
ಗಾಥಾ 17 ಇಧ ತಪ್ಪತಿ ಪೇಚ್ಚ ತಪ್ಪತಿ ಪಾಪಕಾರಿ ಉಭಯತ್ತ ತಪ್ಪತಿ ಪಾಪಂ ಮೇ ಕತಂ ತಿ ತಪ್ಪತಿ ಭಿಯೋ ತಪ್ಪತಿ ದುಗ್ಗತಿಂಗತೋ.
Verse number 17. The evildoer suffers here and hereafter. He suffers in both the worlds. The thought, evil have I done, torments him, and he suffers even more when gone to the realms of the woe.
ಗಾಥಾ 18 ಇಧ ನಂದತಿ ಪೇಚ್ಚ ನಂದತಿ ಕಥ ಪುಣ್ಯೋ ಉಭಯತ್ತ ನಂದತಿ पुण्यम मे कतंति नंदति भियो नंदति सुगतिंगतो.
Verse number 18. The doer of the good delights here and hereafter. He delights in both the worlds. The thought, good have I done, delights him, and he delights even more when got to the realms of bliss.
ಗಾಥಾ 19. ಬಹುಂಪಿಚೆ ಸಹಿತಂ ಭಾಸಮಾನೋ ನ ತಕ್ಕರೋ ಹೋತಿ ನರೋಪಮತ್ತೋ ಗೋಪೋವ ಗಾವೋ ಗಣಯಂ ಪರೇಸಂ ನ ಭಾಗವ ಸಮನ್ಯಸ್ಸ ಹೋತಿ.
Verse number 19. Much though he recites the sacred texts but acts not accordingly, that heedless man is like a cowherd who only counts the cows of others. He does not partake of the blessings of the holy life.
ಗಾಥಾ 20. ಅಪ್ಪಂಪಿಚೆ ಸಹಿತಂ ಭಾಸಮಾನೋ ಧಮ್ಮಸ್ಸ ಹೋತಿ ಅನುಧಮ್ಮಚಾರಿ ರಾಗಂಚ ದೋಸಂಚ ಪಹಾಯ ಮೋಹಂ ಸಮ್ಮಪ್ಪಜಾನೋ ಸುವಿಮುತ್ತ ಚಿತ್ತೋ ಅನುಪಾದಿಯಾನೋ ಇಧವಾಹುರಂಗ್ವಾ ಸಾಭಾಗವ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯಸ್ಸ ಹೋತಿ. ಯಮಕವಗ್ಗೋ ಪಠಮೋ ನಿಠಿತೋ.
Verse number 20. Little though he recites the sacred texts but puts the teaching into practice, forsaking lust, hatred, and delusion, with true wisdom and emancipated mind, clinging to noting of this or any other world, he indeed partakes of the blessings of a holy life. Yamakavaggo, Patamo, Nithito.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
ಖುದ್ದಕ ನಿಕಾಯ ಧಮ್ಮಪದ ಪಾಳಿ 2ನೇ ವರ್ಗ ಅಪ್ಪಮಾದ ವರ್ಗ. ಗಾಥಾ 21. ಅಪ್ಪಮಾದೋ ಅಮತಪದಂ ಪಮಾದೋ ಮಚ್ಚುನೋ ಪದಂ ಅಪ್ಪಮತ್ತಾನ ಮೀಯಂತಿ ಯೇ ಪಮತ್ತ ಯಥಾ ಮತ.
Chapter number 2. Appamadavaggo, heedfulness. Verse number 21. Heedfulness is the path to the deathlessness. Heedlessness is the path to death. The heedful die not. The heedless are as if dead already.
ಗಾಥಾ 22. ಏವಂ ವಿಶೇಷತೋನ್ಯತ್ವಾ ಅಪ್ಪಮಾಧಮ್ಮಿ ಪಂಡಿತ ಅಪ್ಪಮಾದೇ ಪಮೋದಂತಿ ಅರಿಯಾನಂ ಗೋಚರೇರತ.
Verse number 22. Clearly, understanding this excellence of heedfulness, the wise exult therein and enjoy the resort of the noble ones.
ಗಾಥಾ 23. ತೇ ಝಾಯಿನೋ ಸಾತತಿಕ ನಿಚ್ಚಂ ದಲ್ಲ ಪರಕ್ಕಮ ಪುಸಂತಿ ಧೀರ ನಿಬ್ಬಾನಂ ಯೋಗಕ್ಷೇಮಂ ಅನುತ್ತರಂ.
Verse number 23. The wise ones, ever meditative and steadfastly persevering alone, experience Nibbana, the incomparable freedom from bondage.
ಗಾಥಾ 24. ಉತ್ಥಾನವತೋ ಸತಿಮತೋ ಶುಚಿ ಕಮ್ಮಸ್ಸ ನಿಸಮ್ಮಕಾರಿನೋ ಸಂಯತಸ್ಸ ಚ ಧಮ್ಮಜೀವಿನೋ ಅಪ್ಪಮತ್ತಸ್ಸ ಯಶೋಭಿವಡ್ಡತಿ.
Verse number 24. Ever grows the glory of him who is energetic, mindful, pure in conduct, discerning and self-controlled, righteous and heedful.
ಗಾಥಾ 25. ಉತ್ಥಾನೇನ ಅಪ್ಪಮಾದೇನ ಸಂಯಮೇನ ದಮೇನ ಚ ದೀಪಂ ಕೈರಾಥ ಮೇಧಾವಿ ಯಂ ವೋಘೋ ನಾಭಿಕೀರತಿ.
Verse number 25. By effort and heedfulness, discipline and self-mastery, let the wise one make for himself an island which no flood can overwhelm.
ಗಾಥಾ 26. ಪಮಾದಂ ಅನುಯುಂಜಂತಿ ಬಾಲಾ ದುಮ್ಮೇದಿನೋ ಜನ ಅಪ್ಪಮಾದಂಚ ಮೇಧಾವಿ ಧನಂ ಸೆಟ್ಟಂವ ರಕ್ಷತಿ.
Verse number 26. The foolish and ignorant indulge in heedlessness, but the wise keeps his heedfulness as his best treasure.
ಗಾಥಾ 27. ಮಾ ಪಮಾದಂ ಅನುಯುಂಜೇಥ ಮಾ ಕಾಮರತಿ ಸಂಧವಂ ಅಪ್ಪಮತ್ತೋ ಹಿ ಜಾಯಂತೋ ಪಪ್ಪೋತಿ ವಿಪುಲಂ ಸುಖಂ.
Verse number 27. Do not give way to heedlessness. Do not indulge in sensual pleasures. Only the heedful and the meditative attain great happiness.
ಗಾಥಾ 28. ಪಮಾದಂ ಅಪ್ಪಮಾದೇನ ಯದಾ ನುದತಿ ಪಂಡಿತೋ ಪನ್ಯಾ ಪಾಸಾದ ಮಾರ್ಹೂಯ ಅಶೋಕೋ ಶೋಕಿನಂ ಪಜಂ ಪಬ್ಬತಠೋವ ಭುಮ್ಮಟ್ಟೆ ಧೀರೋ ಬಾಲೆ ಅವೆಕ್ಕತಿ.
Verse number 28. Just as once upon the summit of a mountain beholds the groundlings, even so, when the wise man casts away heedlessness by heedfulness and ascends the high tower of wisdom, this sorrowless sage beholds the sorrowing and foolish multitude.
ಗಾಥಾ 29. ಅಪ್ಪಮತ್ತೋ ಪಮತ್ತೇಸು ಸುತ್ತೇಸು ಬಹುಜಾಗರೋ ಅಬಲಸಂಗ್ವ ಶೀಘಸ್ಸೋ ಹಿತ್ವಾ ಯಾತಿ ಸುಮೇಧಸೋ.
Verse number 29. Heedful among the heedless, wide awake among the sleepy, the wise man advances like a swift horse, leaving behind a wake jade.
ಗಾಥಾ 30. ಅಪ್ಪಮಾದೇನ ಮಘವಾ ದೇವಾನಂ ಸೆಠತಂಗತೋ ಅಪ್ಪಮಾದಂ ಪಸಂಸಂತಿ ಪಮಾದೋ ಗರಹಿತೋ ಸದಾ.
Verse number 30. By heedfulness did Indra. Verse number 30. By heedfulness did Indra become the overlord of the gods. Heedfulness is ever praised and heedlessness ever despised.
ಗಾಥಾ 31. ಅಪ್ಪಮಾದರತೋ ಭಿಕ್ಕು ಪಮಾದೇ ಭಯದಸ್ಸಿವ ಸಂಯೋಜನಂ ಅಣುಂ ಥೂಲಂ ಡಹಂ ಅಗ್ಗೀವ ಗಚ್ಚತಿ. ಗಾಥಾ 32. ಅಪ್ಪಮಾದರತೋ ಭಿಕ್ಕು ಪಮಾದೆ ಭಯದಸ್ಸಿವ ಅಬಬ್ಬೋ ಪರಿಹಾನಾಯ ನಿಬ್ಬಾನ ಸೇವ ಸಂತಿಕೆ. ಅಪ್ಪಮಾದವಗ್ಗೋ ದುತಿಯೋ ನಿಠಿತೋ.
Verse number 32. The monk who delights in heedfulness and looks up with fear at heedlessness will not fall, is close to Nibbana. Appamadavaggo dutiyo nittito.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
ಖುದ್ದಕ ನಿಕಾಯೆ ಧಮ್ಮಪದ ಪಾಲಿ 3ನೆಯ ವರ್ಗ ಚಿತ್ತವಗ್ಗೋ. ಗಾಥಾ 33. ಫಂದನಂ ಚಪಲಂ ಚಿತ್ತಂ ದುರಕ್ಕಂ ದುನ್ನಿವಾರಯಂ ಉಜುಂ ಕರೋತಿ ಮೇಧಾವಿ ಉಸುಕಾರೋವ ತೇಜನಂ.
Verse number 33. Just as Fletcher straightens an arrow shaft, even so the discerning man straightens his mind. So fickle and unsteady, so difficult to guard and control.
ಗಾಥಾ 34. ವಾರಿಜೋವಾ ಥಲೆ ಕಿಥೋ ಓಕ ಮೋಕತ ಉಬ್ಬತೋ ಪರಿಫಂದಂತಿದಂ ಚಿತ್ತಂ ಮಾರದೆಯ್ಯಂ ಪಹಾತವೇ.
Chapter 3. Chittavaggo, the mind. Verse number 34. As a fish, when pulled out of water and cast on land, throbs and quivers, even so is this mind agitated. Hence, should one abandon the realm of Mara.
ಗಾಥಾ 35. ದುನ್ನಿಗ್ಗಹ ಸಲಹುನೋ ಯತ್ತ ಕಾಮ ನಿಪಾತಿನೋ ಚಿತ್ತಸ್ಸ ದಮತೋ ಸಾಧು ಚಿತ್ತಂ ದಂತಂ ಸುಖಾವಹಂ.
Verse number 35. Wonderful indeed it is to subdue the mind, so difficult to subdue, ever swift and seizing whatever it desires. A tamed mind brings happiness.
ಗಾಥಾ 36. ಸುದುದ್ದಸಂ ಸುನಿಪುಣಂ ಯತ್ಥ ಕಾಮನಿಪಾತಿನಂ ಚಿತ್ತಂ ರಕ್ಷೇಥ ಮೇಧಾವಿ ಚಿತ್ತಂ ಗುತ್ತಂ ಸುಖಾವಹಂ.
Verse number 36. Let the discerning man guard the mind, so difficult to detect and extremely subtle, seizing whatever it desires. A guarded mind brings happiness.
ಗಾಥಾ 37. ದೂರಂಗಮಂ ಏಕಚರಂ ಅಸರೀರಂ ಗುಹಾಸಯಂ ಯೇ ಚಿತ್ತಂ ಸಂಯಮೆಸ್ಸಂತಿ ಮೊಕ್ಕಂತಿ ಮಾರಬಂಧನ.
Verse number 37. Dwelling in the cave of the heart and of the mind, without form, wanders far and alone, those who subdue this mind are liberated from the bonds of the Mara.
ಗಾಥಾ 38. ಅನವಟ್ಟಿತ ಚಿತ್ತಸ್ಸ ಸದ್ಧಮ್ಮಂ ಅವಿಜಾನತೋ ಪರಿಪ್ಲವ ಪಸಾದಸ್ಸ ಪನ್ಯ ನ ಪರಿಪೂರತಿ.
Verse number 38. Wisdom never becomes perfect in one whose mind is not steadfast. who knows not the good teaching and whose faith wavers.
ಗಾಥಾ 39 ಅನವಸ್ಸುತ ಚಿತ್ತಸ್ಸ ಅನನ್ವಾಹತ ಚೇತಸೋ ಪುಣ್ಯ ಪಾಪ ಪಹೀನಸ್ಸ ನತ್ಥಿ ಜಾಗರತೋ ಭಯಂ.
Verse number 39. There is no fear for an awakened one whose mind is not soddened by lust or afflicted by hate, and who has gone beyond both merit and demerit.
ಗಾಥಾ 40 ಕುಂಭೂಪಮಂ ಕಾಯಮಿಮಂ ವಿದಿತ್ವಾ ನಗರೂಪಮಂ ಚಿತ್ತಮಿದಂ ಠಪೆತ್ವಾ ಯೋದೇಥಮಾರಂ ಪನ್ಯಾವುಧೇನ ಜಿತಂಚ ರಕ್ಷೆ ಅನಿವೇಶನೋಸಿಯಾ.
Verse number 40. Realizing that this body is as fragile as a clay pot, and fortifying this mind like a well-fortified city, fight out Mara with the sword of wisdom, then guarding the conquest, remain unattached.
ಗಾಥಾ 41 ಅಚಿರಂ ವತಯಂ ಕಾಯೋ ಪಥವಿಂ ಅತಿಶೆಸ್ಸತಿ ಕ್ಷುದ್ಧೋ ಅಪೇತ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನೋ ನಿರರ್ಥಂವಾ ಕಲಿಂಗರಂ.
Verse number 41. Ere long, alas, this body will lie upon the earth, unheeded and lifeless, like a useless log.
ಗಾಥಾ 42 ದಿಶೋ ದಿಸಂ ಯಂ ತಂ ಕೈರಾ ವೇರಿವಾಪನ ವೇರಿನಂ ಮಿಚ್ಛಾ ಪಣಿಹಿತಂ ಚಿತ್ತಂ ಪಾಪಿಯೋ ನಂ ತತೋ ಕರೆ.
Verse number 42. Whatever harms an enemy may do to an enemy, or a hater to a hater, an ill-directed mind inflicts on oneself a greater harm.
ಗಾಥಾ 43 ನತಂ ಮಾತಾ ಪಿತಾ ಕೈರಾ ಅನ್ಯೇ ವಾಪಿ ಚ ಜ್ಞಾತಕಾ ಸಮ್ಮಾ ಪಣಿಹಿತಂ ಚಿತ್ತಂ ಸಯ್ಯಸೋ ನಂ ತತೋ ಕರೆ ಚಿತ್ತವಗ್ಗೋ ತತಿಯೋ ನಿಠಿತೋ.
Verse number 43. Neither mother, father, nor any other relative can do one greater good than one's own well-directed mind. Chittavaggo tatiyo nitito.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
ಖುದ್ದಕ ನಿಕಾಯೆ ಧಮ್ಮಪದ ಪಾಳಿ 4ನೇ ವರ್ಗ ಪುಪ್ಪವ ಗೋ. ಗಾಥಾ 44 ಕೋ ಇಮಂ ಪಥವಿಂ ವಿಚೆಸ್ಸತಿ ಯಮಲೋಕಂಚ ಇಮಂ ಸದೇವಕಂ ಕೋ ಧಮ್ಮಪದಂ ಸುದೇಶಿತಂ ಕುಶಲೋ ಪುಪ್ಪಮಿವ ಪಚೆಸ್ಸತಿ.
Chapter 4. Puppavaggo, flowers. Verse number 44. Who shall overcome this earth, this realm of Yama, and this sphere of men and gods? Who shall bring to perfection the well-taught path of wisdom as an expert garland maker his floral design.
ಗಾಥಾ 45 ಸೇಖೋ ಪಥವಿಂ ವಿಚಸ್ಸತಿ ಯಮಲೋಕಂಚ ಇಮಂ ಸದೇವಕಂ ಸೇಖೋ ಧಮ್ಮಪದಂ ಸುದೇಶಿತಂ ಕುಶಲೋ ಪುಪ್ಪಮಿವ ಪಚೇಸ್ಸತಿ.
Verse number 45. The striver on the path shall bring to perfection the well-taught path of wisdom, as an expert garland maker would his floral design.
ಗಾಥಾ 46 ಫೇಣೂಪಮಂ ಕಾಯಮಿಮಂ ವಿದಿತ್ವಾ ಮರೀಚಿಧಮ್ಮಂ ಅಭಿಸಂಬುದಾನೋ ಛತ್ವಾನ ಮಾರಸ್ಸ ಪಪುಪ್ಪಕಾನಿ ಅದಸ್ಸನಂ ಮಚ್ಚು ರಾಜಸ್ಸ ಗಚ್ಚೇ.
Verse number 46. Realizing that this body is like a froth, penetrating its mirage like nature, and plucking out Mara's flower-tipped arrows of sensuality, go beyond sight of the king of the death.
ಗಾಥಾ 47 ಪುಪ್ಪಾನಿ ಹೇವ ಪಚಿನಂತಂ ಭ್ಯಾಸತ್ತ ಮನಸಂ ನರಂ ಸುತ್ತಂ ಗಾಮಂ ಮಹೋಘೋವಾ ಮಚ್ಚು ಆದಾಯ ಗಚ್ಚತಿ.
Verse number 47. As a mighty flood sweeps away the sleeping village, so the death carries away the person of distracted mind who only plucks the flowers of the pleasure. Verse number 48. The destroyer brings under his way the person of distracted mind who, insatiate in sense desires, only plucks the flowers of pleasure.
ಗಾಥಾ 49 ಯಥಾಪಿ ಭಮರೋ ಪುಪ್ಪಂ ವಣ್ಣಗಂಧ ಮಹೇಠಯಂ ಫಲೇತಿ ರಸಮಾದಾಯ ಏವಂ ಗಾಮೇ ಮುನೀಚರೇ.
Verse number 49. As a bee gathers honey from the flower without injuring its color or fragrance, even so the sage goes on his arms round in the village.
ಗಾಥಾ 50 ನ ಪರೇಸಂ ವಿಲೋಮಾನಿ ನ ಪರೇಸಂ ಕಥಾಕಥಂ ಅತ್ತನೋವ ಅವೆಖ್ಯಯ್ಯ ಕಥಾನಿ ಅಕಥಾನಿ ಚ.
Verse number 50. Let none find fault with others. Let none see the omissions and commissions of others, but let one see one's own acts done and undone.